some ideas about we can contribute to the kids' gift bags.
They went to see
That is my ideas for review. We do have some branded mini footballs that we would be happy to contribute to the bag. And what else we can include as well. Have any idea of how many kids participated in the spread last? Yeah. Also, we'll have some of our UKW staff. We are happy to help in whatever. You know, these. Late 30s. But they, so we'll talk to some ideas like. Her husband has. They like bubble.
All right.
Somebody is gonna give us some ideas.
It's a range of kids, like a age, accommodate.
At least.
What if they're doing the middle? How old?
They go up to like.
Yeah.
They still like that.
Sidewalk talk.
Oh,
Yeah.
It was like friends had it last year.
I put it together.
I'm just asking for other. Okay, everyone, just so you know, the recording started. We're a minute away from our meeting. Whatever you say.
I care.
May use the answer to sort of.
Yeah.
It looks like we have a couple of people online as well tonight. All right, my computer is showing 7 o'clock. It will go on Lenovo Center. So, welcome everybody to the Lucy Robbins Wells Library Board of Trustee meeting for Monday, February 10th, 2025. This is our regular meeting, and I'll ask Elizabeth to do a roll call if you're ready.
George Bernacco, Andy Brecker,
Andy's online, I think.
Here.
I see him.
Kelly DeHaas,
Here.
He was on the race meeting.
He was already.
We'll go back to him. He was on the race meeting. He's probably trying to get on this one.
okay, thank you. Anna Eddy,
Here.
Pam Canary,
Here.
Pauline Truck,
Here.
Iris Larson, Leanne Mankey,
Here.
Maureen O'Connor Lyons,
Here.
Chris Riley,
Here.
Christine Shushin,
Here.
Diane Stam,
Here.
Lisa Maxton,
She's here. It's here.
Karen Benner,
Here.
Sheila Rowell,
Here.
David Nagel,
Here.
and Kim Rada. That's it.
Thank you. Anyone online for public participation? Okay.
I'm online.
Iris, thank you. Iris is online. That came in. She's on as usual. Okay. Thank you, Iris. And we'll keep our eye out for Jason because he was on the earlier one. He's probably just having problems transitioning. Okay, so no public participation online. I don't see any public here. Town council liaison. Dave, is there anything to share?
Nothing new, you know about the budget and the date and
You want to state
You're
that
going to
again
be-
for us?
March
asked to
15th.
appear if you wish to. We're
15th.
gonna handle it.
It's March.
And tomorrow night, there's a public hearing just before the meeting. And then a resolution is going to be asked to be passed about the cultural district, which I've told you before. The library is part of the cultural district, just for your information. And if you want to speak up, and the details of that resolution and so on are found on the town website. And will be, I'm sure, discussed again at that meeting if you're interested, which is kind of important to the town and to the libraries and part of this, so all it's a historic and cultural.
So the cultural, I think we looked into that now that you've brought it up. I think we looked into that and that would not impede anything that the library does with their building. We're just listed as part of being part of the district, but there's no, I think Chris, you looked into that. No
Not that I
restrictions.
know.
And just to add to that, and I think they also just recently had the public information meeting, that's part of the process for the art, for the cultural district. And, I was part of that. Didn't realize I was gonna be speaking in front of all these people, but I think it went rather well. I mean, we had, you know, a lot of good feedback, a lot of, you know, some concerns, but I think we were able to answer a lot of the questions that a lot of people had and everything like that. And, just to kind of, I think, go along with what, you know, eventually with our library expansion. I think one of the people's comments was that they like having a public information meeting where they get to ask questions and find out more information. So they would look for more of those so that, you know, town council, I think it's, you know, more transparent, a lot of, you know, information there and everything. And I thought, well, maybe that's something also for the library that we just need to keep in mind too, is, you know, the more we keep the public informed, it seems, the better it goes, so.
Great. Thank you. Anything else, Dave?
Not that I know, unless you have a question.
Any questions for Dave? I'm looking online. If you're online, please don't hesitate to speak up. I know people try to be polite about things, but it's a big room to try and, track. So, you know, easily speak up. I'm trying to make my screen bigger, pardon me for a moment, so that I can see better anybody who's out there. All right. So we have a library department head with us, Michelle Royer, and she'll take a few moments to introduce herself, although many of us know her, but introduce herself to us and kind of go over a review of what she does for the library and our town.
All right,
Thanks,
thank
Michelle.
you for having me tonight. As you know, I'm head of community services. I've been here, it's gonna be 25 years in June, part-time
Wow.
first, yes. I am a notary, so if you know anybody that needs any notary services, you can send them my way, and it's free from the library. The town hall charges $5. I do homebound services, and that has really taken off. We probably have 60 or 70 people, including people living in different facilities. So I go once a month and I do outreach at the facilities, and then I go back and supplement through the month. I have different volunteers that help me with dropping off and picking up. With the help of everybody else, I put the footnotes together. So once everybody has all their programs, we get everything together and we send it off and have it come back beautiful. And Anna and I work on the dining partner tickets, keeping everything up to date. And what's our 47, 48? I don't even know what we have right now. But we had 7 new dining partners come in the last 6 months. So all the new businesses on the turnpike are all involved and want to be involved with us. I work on the desk like everybody else. I go, like I said, I go to outreach. I go to Cedar Mountain Commons. I go to Middlewoods. I do deliveries at the high rise. I've been doing stuff with the veterans. And I go to Jefferson House. I do my monthly report for Lisa. I do an annual report for her as well. I work with the Friends on our long book sales and our Winter Fest, which was very successful this year, helping making the tickets and the flyers and getting entertainment and food and begging from the town. And I think we almost hit 18,000 this year. And I think one of the things that works so well for me is networking. So I belong to the Newington Chamber of Commerce. I'm vice president at the chamber. And when I first started, I think we were, what, $700-800 for the Winterfest with the wine and cheese. And now we're up to 18,000, all on just getting one little thing, like Anna with the dining partner tickets. We get one little thing from every person, and then we sell out in 10 days and we raise prices and we're making money. So I'm really happy about that. My passion is to help people. So I work with people in town. They're multi-language learners. English is not their first language. That's a program that I'm very vested into. I also work with special needs adults. I work with the transition academies, and I was working with the older adults that come around the library, but since COVID, things kind of got mixed up, but we're trying to get that back on board. I help get the artists every month. And I try to have each artist, including Christopher over there, do a program while their art is up, so people understand what it is, and it gives people either a drawing lesson or a painting lesson or something like that. I try to add more than just the exhibit. They're welcome to have receptions if they want to, and they can bring their family in, you know, we can advertise from them in the library, they can sell their art, and 10% of the sales goes back to the trustees, so that's always good. Publicity flyers, Transition Academy, and I think that, oh, I help with the chamber with their big events too, their golf tournament, their comedy show, and their bingo. So when we're ready to take something else on, it's a lot of fun. And as most of you know, I've had a very different 7 or 8 months, so I thank you all for your support, your cards, your kindness, your love, and appreciate it. How's that?
Do you ever sleep?
No, I don't sleep.
Really?
Not something I do.
So 2 things I know about Michelle. When I first met her in the position, she said that she was the town beggar, but I think she's the town charmer because I've never seen anybody get the results that she gets. Thank you. And earlier this year at the Hanel concert, a very nice woman and patron of the library talked my ear off about how lovely Michelle is, and she was involved a little bit with the English as a second language and stuff like that. So what you do matters, and it helps.
Thank you.
Well, I know you help us. You didn't put that on the list, but you're out there helping us with the library contacts and everything else. Every time, I don't know how many times I've been told, I don't know, but Michelle could maybe help you.
The race. There's a lot of work with the race.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you didn't have that too.
Yeah, and the friends new team volunteers.
She does a great job.
Okay.
Okay, you're free.
Anybody else have questions
Dismissed.
for Michelle? You're letting her go so fast. Anybody online have questions? or
I'll see you
comments?
after.
You will, okay.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time here today.
Anytime.
Okay, next up is Secretary's report, and George is out. There is no report tonight. From there, we would move on to approval of the minutes from last month. Did everybody have a chance to review the minutes? Any corrections?
I'll make a motion, Leanne. I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as distributed.
Maureen, second.
Did you send Kim the link? She didn't get it for the meeting.
Kim Ryder didn't get the link for the meeting?
Jen Hubert is sending it right now.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. So we have a motion on the table to approve the minutes as presented. Any further discussion or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Thank you. Head nods work on online. So, thank you. Okay, motion passes. Thank you. Okay, annual activity calendar. Sorry, I usually have that right in here. So again, I know one of the things that we talked about is the fact that this year is the staff appreciation year, so I just like to keep mentioning that so it stays top of mind. We've got a lot of things that we're trying to pull off this year. It's nice to keep that front and center. I know Lisa and Karen will be talking to staff about that. Let's see, so a lot of this month's information is the 5K race sponsorships and the budget meeting that comes up at end of this. When's the budget meeting?
15th of March.
The March.
March 15th?
It's 9:00
9.
March 15th.
in the morning.
So you hope. Okay. Thank you. And in March, you'll be surprised to know that the 5K race is still on the agenda for that time. We also have our one of our Hanel events coming up in March. And unfortunately, I won't be there. We can talk about it more later, but that's what's happening in March so far this year. Move on from there. Treasurer's report, Leah.
Okay, I did send it out Friday. Unrestricted checking account is down from last month. You may have noticed we received some funds and we moved some funds around to avail ourselves of better earning potential. So things are in with Dean spotted rather than having such a large balance. For a balance of January 31st is $42,105.22, which will keep us very fluid because we still have sponsorship monies coming in, so, we're in good shape there. The money market that is restricted funds at Bank is at $41,417.08. The money market, which is where we moved those, $145,000 last month, is currently at $422,678.64. All reimbursements for the restricted accounts have been made to the unrestricted accounts. As I said, we did receive the distribution from one of the Johnson trusts and then move those monies around so that we can have a better earning potential. The restricted funds, you'll see there's a revised amount for December 31st. There was a typo in last month's report and I apologize. So I've done a corrected balance as well as the January 31st balance. And then the Margaret Hooker is updated. That's at $376,295.98. One thing that, excuse me, I have a frog in my throat. In the restricted case in amount, you will see that the George Haynel has a balance as of January 31st of $423,252.84. I'm sure Kelly will address this in investments, but we have been talking about pulling that out so it is a separate account, much like the Hooker, so we can track it a little bit easier. So that will be getting pulled out in the next month before the next Haynel event, so that we can treat it like a true endowment, like it was originally intended to be set up. I don't know if there'll be any more disbursements regarding the trust. We have, or from the bequest from the Johnsons, we have received the 2 trust distributions, but my understanding from the attorney is that there's some smaller accounts that have to go through probate, and that is still in process. So I don't know what, if any, there'll be any receipts on that, but I don't anticipate that they will be large. But I was surprised by the amounts in the trust disbursements, so we'll see what happens with that. Other than the Johnson, I'm not aware of any other bequests that haven't been closed out, but you never know when you open the mail. That's how we find out. Couple of other things under treasurer that I wanted to make you aware of. First of all, I don't know if this is anything we want to follow up on, but I'm always looking for free money. So the first thing up is, I know that and again, I'm putting on another hat here, so I can't do the application, but Hartford Foundation for Public Giving, Newington Advisory just got another disbursement out of the Hartford regional, or from into the regional account. So they will have funds available, and they are looking for grants. So, and we're looking for, we can reapply for the Wi-Fi,
Right.
which is huge.
Yeah.
And then this one is just, I saw it in the paper, the Old American Savings Foundation has a up to $5,000 grant opportunity for various things that happen in the community. I don't know if that's something we want to look into. Also on Friday, I am attending, but that's under the library board thing. I'm attending the webinar for the library grant.
Well, I thought we didn't have to.
You have to every year.
You have to do it every year. Okay. What were you covered for? Didn't you?
So that was
Something you
last
did.
year.
No, I did for my food permit. That was 2 years.
Oh, food. Food, that's right.
Yeah.
I knew you were covered for something. So when is that?
That's, well, I'm going on one Friday. There's a couple of others.
I think it's Thursday. but-
Thursday, I'm sorry,
No,
the
that's
days
right.
are running together, the 13th, not,
The 13th.
the 13th.
But only one of us has to be.
Right, and I believe Sonia is also attending that one, so which will be great because she is the grant writer, so.
Super.
Other than that, that's all I have for treasury.
Any questions for Leanne on the treasurer's report?
Not necessarily the treasurer's report, but, I remember one of the discussions in the last board meeting was about the SLIVA account, saying that, it may deplete in a few years, just by, virtue, I guess, of the cost of, children's authors and activities and stuff, and, is there any, is that going to increase at all, what comes into that account, or
I've
is
had
it gonna be replenished? or-
I've had some conversations with Karen and Lisa, a little bit with Bailey, but she was out the week that I came in to talk to her. I think the first place would be go to the family.
Yeah,
And, they do get a report every year about where we stand, and it's pretty obvious that the cost, which we're kind of running with what their donations were, is now, beyond that. I know that when I kind of spoke quickly to Bailey, she felt that bringing it to the family first to say, here, this is where we're at, might be the way to go. The other potential that we talked about was to potentially doing joint, because this is a program that's been going on for so many years that we don't want to discontinue it to the schools.
Yeah.
Is, to potentially go to them and saying, okay, it's a joint with Hanel. Or perhaps another funding mechanism, maybe something like this American Savings Foundation or something like that. We don't want to get rid of the program, but I certainly don't want to turn around and say, okay, to the sleeveless who've been so generous in the past and say, okay, the money's gone, so your name's not on it anymore.
Yeah.
So I think that's the first step. We have enough for this, the conversation should start now, but we have
Yeah.
enough to maybe go a couple of years.
okay. Thanks.
I know it was a lot of work to wrap our heads around all of the different accounts and balances and where the money comes from and who should use what, so. I think we're using the money smarter now. Thank you to Leanne and Karen and Lisa and everybody that worked on trying to pull that together. That was no small task. All right, I don't see any questions online. I'm giving it another look. Alrighty. Library Director's Report, Lisa Maston.
Okay, the winter reading programs kicked off last week, or the week before, I guess it was the week before. The adult kickoff, we had 227 adults sign up the night, the first day. We had almost 300 by the end of the month, and I think we're close to 400 now.
Nice.
The children's and teens, I mentioned it last month, they were having an indoor glow-in-the-dark miniature golf was their kickoff. So, they had 100+ kids and teens and then parents and stuff. In addition to the 100, there was several hundred in the library, and I guess it was quite fun. And that is a program that the Friends fund, and we really appreciate it. We are in the process of interviewing for the full-time librarian one position. Last week, we had an outside panel interview the first round of candidates. We had 3 librarians from different libraries who all they have different jobs, so we wanted to, this is a job that's gonna be in collection management and community services. So we wanted to have people that did that, librarians that did that interview. And we wanted an outside panel because we have 2 internal candidates applying, and we just wanted to have an impartial first panel. And then we're going to be doing the second interview tomorrow. So hopefully by maybe the end of this week or beginning of next week, we'll have somebody that we've offered the job to. And we're excited because the position's been open since April 2020. So it'll be nice to have it filled finally.
April 2020?
Yes.
5 years old.
Yeah. The reference office, we've started doing the redesign of that office. They moved out at the end of the month, very reluctantly. They're in the Linehart room right now. We have them all set up.
Who knew that would be swing space?
And it's going to be painted next week. We are painting it a lighter color for them instead of the dark green. And it's getting new carpet. It hasn't had new carpet since 1988, I don't think.
Oh, yeah. Sid was gluing it together.
Yeah. And then, they'll get their new furniture in mid-March. So we're excited that, again, this will be the first time that everybody that works in that office will actually have workspace, and they'll actually have their own computer. So they're not sharing, workspace, so we're pretty excited about that. And then the last thing I just wanted to talk about was, we are going to be doing a project in the biography area. the wall that faces the neighbors, what wall is that? I don't know.
That's east. So if you go straight back.
Straight back, we have a mold and mildew issue all along the wall there. And it has gotten into some of the books. So we have a company they came in, they did testing. The good thing is the mold is the kind of mold that we typically have in our house. It's not black mold at all. It's more like what we would see if you have some moisture, but one of the problems there is it's an, external wall, so there's some moisture issues from that. The ventilation, the books are, the shelving, the top shelf had books on it, and there's not a lot of space between that and the heating system. So a lot of the books on the top shelf had an issue on that wall. And then it even moved down a little bit, because once you get it on books, it can spread kind of easily.
Do you have to destroy the book?
Not necessarily. The company's gonna come in, they're gonna remediate the whole area. So they're gonna be putting plastic all around that area. They're gonna be we have to take the bottom 3 shelves off, everything off the bottom 2 shelves, move them. So we're taking over a study room. And then they're gonna clean the top 3 shelves. But they're first gonna take all the books off, clean the walls, clean the shelving, do what they need to do. And then they're gonna clean the top 3 shelves of each area, and I forget how many areas there are along the wall. And then they'll put them back, and then we'll see how many books didn't make it. The big challenge we're gonna have is we can't put books on the top shelf anymore. So we have to shift the entire collection, because the biographies on the sidewall are fine, except now we have to shift that way. Then they're gonna have to shift, into nonfiction, so it's gonna be a very big project to do. And it's a bummer that you're losing shelf space, because we can't have it that close to the
Oh,
heating
so
and
tight.
cooling system.
Well, they're gonna remediate, but what kind of work are they gonna be doing construction wise? There's nothing in the walls that have to.
Oh, I'm sorry, the first thing they're gonna do is, actually, the first thing they're gonna do before they remediate is they're cleaning all the ductwork too, throughout the whole
So the
building.
ductwork throughout the building is gonna be clean. They're gonna dismantle the books from those shelves, do all the shelves, do the carpeting. So that whole area is getting scrubbed, if you will. Scrubbed and dried, and then it seems to be a matter of circulation.
Some
is
of
what
it's,
they're
a
saying.
lot of it could be the circulation of air, that it's not allowed to flow the way it needs to. Plus, they said when you have a lot of heat and dust. And then we had that 2 summers ago, I don't know if you remember, we had a terrible time with humidity in the building.
Yes.
The system could not handle the humidity that was outside, which can't be good for, I think there's a lot of factors with that. So that's the plan, but we don't know when it's gonna start sooner than later, but, we don't have a date. Joe from facilities has been really wonderful about working with us. He brought someone in right away, got it tested right away, and now we just have to, get the plan in place.
We've used those shelves all along. I was back there looking. The shelves go, but the original shelves go all the way up. It's not, it's not like something we've done.
Well, the
but,
temperature,
you know, we'll have
the
less-
temperature control system in here is marginal at best.
Right,
Do they
yes.
know how long the project will take?
Not yet, I don't know.
Losing a study room is a big thing.
Yeah, but we have no place to put the
Yeah.
books otherwise, yeah.
What we need here is renovation.
That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions for Lisa?
Lisa, was there any follow-up on the First Amendment filming that was occurring at the library? That one incident?
Follow up from,
As far as figuring out if there was anything, I guess, written, I know public spaces and that kind of, laws, kind of allow a lot of that, but I thought they were looking into like the fact that there's the children's area in there.
it's still gray, even with, what we've learned, they're. I mean, people have the right, they can film in a public area and you can tell them not to film, but I think we have to still tighten up our policy. I think the only thing he told us is that in our policy, we said that they couldn't film staff, children, and I don't know if it was patrons, I can't remember offhand, but he just told it, like, they can film staff, we can't tell them not to film us, because we work in a public building, but we're gonna keep it in there and, see what happens. We do have, like, for us, we ask parents if we can take pictures of their children, and you warn people if you're filming or something like that. It's still not really quite clear exactly what you can and cannot do. The one thing they did say is that with the behavior policy, some of the issue we had with this person was his behavior.
Okay,
So then we could ask him to leave.
you could go that avenue or
Right.
disturb the peace or whatever.
Right.
it ends up
If the
being.
person is disturbing a patron or the patron feels threatened or harassed by the filming, then that becomes a behavior issue for us. And then we could tell them that, you're violating the library's behavior issue and ask them to leave on that account. Because that's kind of what happened here.
Okay,
It wasn't that we asked him to leave because he was filming. We asked him to leave because he was bothering patrons and he was getting very verbally abusive to staff.
okay.
Did he say why he was filming?
No, he just said he had the right to film. That's all he kept telling me.
There's a lot of videos online. I unfortunately, my mom is like hooked on those things and watches them all the time. I'm like, just,
So, but they said to focus on your behavior policies a lot of times with them because you don't want to get into a verbal, like, talking about the actual filming, but more about how people are feeling around it. And if someone comes up to you who's in the library and they feel harassed by this person because they have a camera on them, that's violating our
Did you call the
policy.
police?
The police got called because a parent wanted the police called. And then, it was just going downhill from there because he got into it with us. And then he was getting really nasty. And that's really when we said, okay, he needs to go because,
And if they don't leave, obviously the police.
Right.
Have to intervene.
right.
Sometimes. Any other questions for Lisa? No? All right, thank you. Assistant Library Director Karen Benner.
Okay. So I know I've been talking to you about the fact that I've been covering the circulation department. Katie Cornell is back. She came back late last week. So we're happy to have her back. I'm especially happy. We did want to give a shout out to, I don't know who of you know Betty Cappy. She's been here for a long time. She's got kind of the shorter blonde hair. She did an amazing job. She was such a huge help to us. So I just wanted to mention that because she's quiet and behind the scenes sometimes, but she was just wonderful. So we did hire a circulation substitute. Their person's gonna be starting in probably 2 weeks. Katie's gonna be training her. So that's nice to have that done. I know I have mentioned this virtual authors program to you before, but of note, the live views have increased, especially have gone up in the past month. I mean, we had talked about the fact that the recorded views were really popular and they still are, but it was nice to see that some of these authors were getting more live views as well. So tomorrow, I believe at 7 is an author, a best-selling author, and I'm gonna try this. His name is Washing Rice. So I can send that to you. So he's an award-winning and best-selling author. The title of this book is Dystopian. It's a dystopian novel from an indigenous perspective. And it's a follow-up to a previous book called Moon of the Crusted Snow. So that should be really, really interesting. That's tomorrow at 7. Again, if you can't make these things and you want to see it, you can catch it recorded at any time. Everything is there, which is really, really cool. And then coming up on the 18th is I Am Nobody's Slave, an author talk with Pulitzer Prize finalist Lee Hawkins. So that is the 18th at 2 p.m. They tend to be some in the afternoon and then some in the evening. So something to think about if you're interested. Jen Hebert and I are doing our yearly book tasting program, which is just kind of going through a handful of books that we thought were the best in 2024, and then we recommend like 40 books that we're excited about, or other people are excited about for 2025, so that's always fun. Let's see what it does here. I think that is it for me. I think that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for Karen? Online or in the room? No? Okay, thank you, Karen. Friends of the Library, Sheila Brown.
Well, we did the Winterfest, which was a big success, and everyone was really pleased to see your presentation. We got a lot of comments on that.
Did you?
People, liked to see, the way it was presented and all that.
Excuse me, Sheila, could you
Yeah.
speak up a little bit? I know
Sure.
it's not spoken, but.
We did do
Go
more.
back over that last part.
They really liked your presentation, to see what was.
The
going on.
trifold.
We tried, that you had out here, really, got a lot of comments on that. We did in fact, make almost 18,000, and it was specifically, $17,735.
Wow.
Specific.
Net or gross?
Net.
No, gross, that's gross.
Is it? Oh, I thought it was net. No, it's gross.
Oh, okay.
Whatever.
Very good.
Nice. Either way, it's very nice.
And we had, a lot of help from a lot of people, and, that went really well. We had actually leftover stuff. We had a lot of leftover stuff. Around that we're trying to find uses for, and we'll use in sales and things like that. And I think, we're working on the, Mary Ellen and I are working a little bit on the scholarships, trying to get that system in place a little bit better. And we're starting to push for the next book sale.
Great. Great. Do you have the date for that yet?
May the second, third, and fourth.
I think so. Yes, May 2nd, 3rd, and 4th.
Sheila, just a couple of things, later on when I get to talk about the facility and site and everything. Probably I create like a question sheet and a quick fact sheet about the library expansion. It might be something that we would want to give to the friends as well, so that they can promote it. We've provided to the board and the library staff already, just to have another avenue. And I did bring in from the Newington Life, there is a picture of the trifold board.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
So I didn't know if I could pass it around if people want to take a look.
saw that.
Newington Life.
Yeah.
Diane, you're famous. Famous.
Yeah, everybody was there.
I think the picture has Anna and Diane.
Yeah.
That was when I was away from the board.
That's right, we took steps. If I had known, it would have been Anna and Lee.
If I had known, it would have been Diane.
And I lucked out, except I'm in somewhere else.
You're at the end, at the bottom of the page there. That's a great picture.
Okay, any questions for Sheila? Congratulations on a job well done.
It's always a good time to enjoy.
And we're set up with the next Friends meeting, coverage for the next Friends meeting.
That's me.
Chris, okay. I know we're a volunteer.
Is that at 6?
30.
No,
the
six,
date is
six.
6.
It starts early.
It's 6:30.
Yeah,
No, I
it
thought it
starts
was
earlier. It used to be 6:30, now it's 6.
6, right?
Oh, yes.
It is 6:15.
It's
No, no.
six.
that's
No, it's 6 o'clock.
Okay, so the Friends meeting used to be 6:30. It is now 6. Put it in your mind. Friends meet at 6.
Got it.
Good.
The race committee is now 6:15. Oh, my God.
Yeah, but it'll change as we get closer to the race.
Right, but right now it's 6:15.
How's the board looking at that? It's pretty good. Thank you, Chris, for the show and tell. So where am I? Okay, committee reports, budget.
We're gearing up for March 15th. Just ask Dave if there's any surprises coming our way, let us know.
We did have our meeting though.
Yes, oh, yes, we did. We did have a meeting with, the town manager and the finance department and,
You want to give us more?
No.
well, no, basically we were told that everything is tight, so.
Yeah.
Everything's on the table.
Okay. All right, any questions?
No.
All right, moving on to Pauline. Yep.
I'm sending around a list of possible dates for the committee to meet. Each piece of paper has a person's name on it for them to get back to me when, if and when they can come, and whether or not they would prefer in person, like the library or the Zoom meeting.
Some people are online that need to be on PEP, so you'll need to email that out.
Yeah, I've got them full. And then to have Lisa get back to me about things that. whether or not
So we know-
they're supposed to-
We know there's a couple of
behavior.
policies,
Yeah.
right? There's the collections
Right.
policy,
Right.
there's the, I just wrote it down, what do we call that?
The what? We have a couple in the meeting room. We have,
The meeting room, yeah, there's a lot of things wrapping up for this.
Right.
It's very critical that you call a meeting, and I think you might even end up having some sub meetings from there to get back. Thank you.
So do you want us to pick one date? or-
No, what days you're picking, then we'll figure out which dates that no one can.
Process of elimination.
Should like.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I guess we could do it all Zoom if we had to, or can we do a combo for a committee meeting, or is that too difficult?
That's hard.
That's too difficult, okay. So it's either in person or on Zoom.
And what time?
That would be up to, I'm retired, so the people that are working like, Diane, like on
Like
Thursday.
Diane still complains about the fact that she's working, yeah.
Good. Well, I can't help.
I know.
She usually has this, not free till 6:30-ish, right, on a Thursday.
I can push it to 6 if I have to, now that I don't do my commute anymore, but, I say you guys figure it out and then I'll figure out how to be there. Cause I definitely wanna be there. All right. So, Kelly and Jason, you'll be getting an email,
Yep.
from Pauline with some
By
of
this
these
evening.
dates and we'll figure it out. Thank you. Any other questions for Pauline at this point? No? Okay. All right, next up is investment with Kelly, the house.
We did a meeting with Dean Spada in January, which was actually quite productive. I did hear back from his office today. They are in the process of opening up the account for the Hanel funds. And they'll follow up with me once that's actually open. They just needed some information from me in order to keep that in motion. And I connected and it's all forward march.
Super. I did get copied on the email for the DocuSign stuff.
I
Good process
haven't
that.
opened it yet.
I'm done.
Oh, good for you.
All right, thanks, Kelly. Does anybody else have questions for Kelly?
The only thing that, I will say that we kind of talked about in the investment committee is we kind of put Dean on notice of what our short and long-term plans are regarding our, looking toward if we are able to get, the referendum through, what, to look at potentially what our piece could be, in terms of perhaps funding some soft costs or things that aren't in the plan or things like that. Because I think that's one of the questions that we will be asked. So I know that, you know, we're not looking to commit to, we can give X amount of dollars, but, certainly now our investment counselor is in the loop, so to speak, and can advise, Kelly and the committee, and then in turn the board as to where we should go.
I'm gonna put him on notice that we might be looking to supplement some things as time goes on. Take that into consideration when he looks at his different strategies for us. Any other questions for investment? Online? Okay, great. House committee. What Lisa said. Actually, a lot of what's going on is the renovation for the reference area, so we're using the Lionheart room as swing space. And then the major thing with the books, if you happen to have been back there in the last couple of days, you've seen the things. And yes, I took pictures in case we decide to update our slides. To see what's happening, but that is going to be a challenge in terms of what's happening. And it's a factor of, you know, something that's worked for us for years no longer works well for us because everything's aging and challenging, in terms of the HVAC and the airflow and what have you there. So, that's all I have. We do have some things that will come up in the springtime. I always like to remind the town who does a lot of our outdoor maintenance, as we come closer to the race, not just the day before, but like a month before, as we come closer to the race, that this is, you know, this is when we have 400 and 500 people standing around outside the buildings, looking around. So it's, you know, it's like when you have a wedding in your backyard, right? That's when you want to do all the maintenance care. So, a lot of that's coming up. As we said, the walkthrough, a lot of those items are done, or there are work orders in place with facilities to do it. So we're looking very good if we could just stop these little surprises that, keep coming through to us. No frozen pipes over our cold, time when they turn the heat up and prop the doors open. If you're wondering why those doors stay propped open, is to facilitate the warm air, going through for
I
folks.
can send you an email.
I don't have any other updates, for House on that. We don't have any other, projects going on that we as the board are individually handling at this point. Any questions or thoughts? We have the room, you're online. Okay. Thank you. Facility and site, Christopher Riley.
All right, so on January 23rd, we had a LARC meeting. I believe even I saw Anna had sent out about the rare reminder article. I brought a copy of that if anyone wants to look at it as well.
Kitchen table.
But we basically have been, we present changes from the revised presentation that we had to LARC. Seems the revisions get a little bit less and less each time, and I think it's starting to really look good. One of the things was just I'll say adding a little pizzazz to the beginning of the presentation. Before we would just kind of go through all like the current challenges, and then, you know, later on, we would start getting into the new library. And now we kind of try to put them side by side so we can kind of compare and contrast and say, you know, this is what we have now. This is what it could look like in the future. As I said, we've received a lot of encouraging comments. One of the things that was suggested was when we do that hail concert, set up and takedown, take some pictures and video so that we can show people what is actually going into the small space that, you know, we have and what we do to accommodate that. And that's a current challenge that, you know, hopefully we can address, you know, with the new library. At the meeting, there was also a suggestion of several grants, including the one that we were talking about the structural engineer quote on. I did meet with Sonia Richmond just this last week, the town grant writer, to kind of discuss the grant process, kind of understand, you know, how it all works. Unfortunately, I can't make the Thursday construction grant, but I know that they have it from time to time, so I'll probably try to see if I can attend a future one.
But we'll be qualified because I will have gone.
Yes,
So
no,
it's
no,
good
but-
information for you, but we
Yeah.
will be qualified.
Yeah, we'll be qualified, but as I said, the other thing was she mentioned that there's a lot of good useful information in there as well, and as well as what you just told me in the end. One of Sonia's next steps, before we really get into looking at the grants, she would want me to talk with Jonathan Elschel, the town manager, because effectively he would be the one directing her to help out on those the grants. Two that she had mentioned was, as I said, that construction grant that requires a structural engineer, which we were fairly well along on. But also a planning grant, just so that we have kind of the plan, kind of going along with, I think, the idea of having like a project management of the task from now through referendum to kind of get us to that point. That's where a planning grant could potentially come into play to help with that. I'm just looking to make sure I'm covering everything. I did revise the structural engineering report with confirmation from the town clerk regarding the date of the original building. Apparently public records said 1888. When I talked to the town clerk, they looked through a lot of the records. They could find when the original property burned down and it just sat as property, I guess, until the library was built. So he said, that's the date we should use, and I think he was gonna talk with the town assessor to make sure that that gets corrected in the public records as well. I don't know why 1888 stuck out in there somewhere, but somewhere along the way it got picked up and put in there, so. 1939 is the date that we're using for that.
Okay, I'm glad I pushed.
Yeah, it was good to know, there's so many dates out there, so. The next LARC meeting is planned for this Thursday. Looks like it's going to be a Zoom because of the weather potential. We're going, Leanne and I are going to be presenting in front of the town council as representatives of LARC for the update on the 25th of February for the just kind of an informational update. That's why, as I said, the presentation itself, we've already kind of listed in their slides on what, initial next steps we're gonna have to have, or, the presentation is not, completely finalized with every detail of every, budget, every, specific, item of square footage and all that stuff. But that's what we're gonna be working towards for the final one when we go to ask to be put on referendum. This one is just to at least give an informational update to you guys as town council. As far as the communications that I was talking about there, LARC, they also had a suggestion for having like a night at the library with the board to kind of answer questions. And as I said, after the cultural meeting where they the public information meeting seems well taken by a lot of people. I think that might be a good idea as well, so that, people can come in with their concerns, their questions, suggestions, that they haven't already provided. And we can have a possible meeting with that to present information. We're talking about, what could be done for tours, also keeping in mind, as well as with some of the senior citizens, we had public participation at the last meeting, possibly having like Saturday morning tours and items like that. We already mentioned about Winterfest, that the trifold presentation that was put together to at least kind of get it out there in public to show what the renovation that was coming up. Thought it was well received, but also, we also have a library friendly audience there as well, so. But at least it's starting to get the word out and getting that out to people. And from that trifold, I did incorporate to the LARC presentation, the all seasons, all reasons, because we keep pointing out the fact that, and I guess maybe we're trying to kind of learn a little bit from the pool referendum, but, the fact of, we are a year-round, facility and offer programs year-round. And so that's where we came up with the all seasons, all reasons to include in the presentation to kind of point that out. And I think that was mostly it. I did send out to everyone on the board and library staff, and I'll send out to Sheila would be the proper contact for the friends, if I send. At least the initial, I'll say frequently, I don't want to say frequently asked questions, because there hasn't been, there's been a few questions. But kind of like a question and answer sheet, quick fact sheet and everything, because I'm trying to get the board kind of to speak with like one voice for the library renovation, so that, you have all the same facts, all the same information. You're not presenting different things to different people or saying things. If it's not on there, we can always say, well, I'll have to come back to you with that and everything, but so it's not obviously complete. I expect it to grow as we get further into the process. We'll probably have additional information we can add into that as well. So I have seen that a few of you have provided feedback on that, so I'll start taking a look at that and see what I can put in there. But I think as kind of I mentioned is just to kind of keep us all on the same page, is that until like make the next, I'll say, official revision of it, to use the one that was sent out to start with. And then once I have, all the feedback and all that incorporated, and I send out another official revision, then I can say, okay, well, now use that one instead. So that we're not just, pulling pieces from each.
Chris, when you present to the town council.
Yep.
You're not showing the presentation, are you?
The large presentation is being presented.
It is being presented, so. Okay. So it's not just 10 minutes of chatting.
No, it's not, that's just, not just me and Leanne, just, shooting the breeze and telling them all about the library.
No. That'd be the quickest way to get me to run from the room.
And to go with that, Leanne and I are meeting tomorrow, I believe, to kind of start going over the presentation and practice, I'll say, for our presentation.
Jason, did you want to make a comment?
Yeah, I do. One sec. Okay, hi. Yeah, hi, Chris. I know that you ended up putting together the PowerPoint presentation and, you did an extensive job on it. I know that you ended up saying, that you ended up, talking to the town council about showing them the PowerPoint presentation that you ended up doing. The next step, I guess, maybe, is there an opportunity in the future to have, I know, whenever I've sat in the town council meetings and they've asked people to come in and, I know that I remember the rat presentation and the pool presentation, but I didn't know, is there, not to take away the time from the council, but that time that they have for the presentations at the town council, would we be able to get on the board to invite the town council, to walk across the way to show the physical, I guess, the exhibits in conjunction with the PowerPoint presentation that you have in the future? You know what I mean?
I'm sure we can plan a tour in the future with them. I mean, obviously at that meeting, it's just to present the information.
Right.
And there's the rest of the town council meeting going on afterwards, but.
So, yeah, this is an update to town council and the town in general, because that is recorded and played for everyone.
Oh,
When we have our annual walkthrough, and Jason, I don't think you were on our board yet, but it's
I'm sorry.
similar to the new hire walkthrough. And we had several of the newer counselors and our mayor actually walk through this building with us. So they saw the behind the scenes, if you will, tour.
Okay.
They saw, the staff areas, they saw the tight quarters for where all the friends do their magic and stuff like that. So the town council itself has done that.
oh, okay.
And then we have to be careful sometimes, this is my understanding, and either Kim or Dave can clarify that, but if we have the full council come and do something with us to do like a walkthrough, we have to open it to the public, right? Because it's considered an official town council meeting.
Yeah.
And we're not necessarily opposed to that, but, you don't know how many people are coming, and
Okay.
it's not like we're gonna walk around with the, WFSB on our shoulder.
No, I'm sorry.
So-
I'm sorry about my ignorance. No, I just wanted to ask if there is any
No,
opportunity
it's a good
just to
point.
work with them. And I know my timing on
And we
board
were
isn't
thrilled
exact.
when they came.
Leanne, one thing that Lark has talked about and Chris talked about just now is doing those. Once we're beyond this presentation in February, then we can come back and start regrouping about how we're going to educate the public. One of the things was basically these tours that we could open up. First of all of us will be not called upon to be basically docents to take these tours. That would be the place where we could encourage those town councilors who have yet to be in the building or wish to come back or whatever to come as part of those tours, that it doesn't make it an official town council meeting, but they can go through. But also that's where we as a board will be part of this process as well. If you could take a tour on a Saturday morning or whatever else, and again, we have to coordinate with library, it's all gonna be very involved in terms of organizing, but I think that's where Lark was going, was that we should be able to open it up and show the public what we're talking about. While pictures are good, side by side, what is happening versus the other, it's amazing when you go down into the bowels of this building and realize just how lovely it is down there.
Yeah, I was just looking to bring like a more tangibility aspect of it, with communication.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it was a good point.
Put you on docent duty.
Good points, Jason, thank you. Any, David?
Yeah, I just wanted to add for those who don't know, the, agenda for the council should to go out for the 22nd to discuss that. But usually presentations are done towards the beginning of the meeting before other things happen. So if you wish to attend, and I know you'll be relieved to know, you won't have to
You won't have to
go
wait till
through tons of
9:30.
other stuff that will be at the beginning of the meeting, and let's hope that what I'm saying is absolutely true.
That's why.
Presentations are done towards the beginning of the meeting for the work.
22nd and the 25th.
25th, I'm sorry.
Oh.
I don't know why I have.
And
He
as
probably
many
has a
people as
meeting with
possible, if we
Thank
could
you.
have library board trustees sitting in the audience. You know, we don't have to get up and present, but it just helps for them to
Presence.
know, to see a united front. Yes, this is where we are, this is what we're, you know, this is what we recommended to Laura, this is what they're giving an update on.
Mentioned that they couldn't make that.
Some people are out of town, understood, but, you know, and then if we can kind of sit together so that they know.
Where are lanyards?
Right?
We could wear our lanyards, there you go.
Mine's,
You don't-
mine,
you don't have-
I turned mine in at the race. I haven't seen it
We can
back.
get you one.
I
We
have
can get
mine.
both of you
Keep it
one.
with me.
Okay.
There you go, glove.
While we're setting, I'll wear mine.
Anything else on, facility and site for, the presentation or communications?
No, other than I'm gonna look at possibly having a meeting, because there is a little bit more detail from my discussions. I just didn't want to bring up here at the board meeting, but I want to bring up
Have
at
a
the
committee
committee
meeting?
as well, so. And I know George also mentioned about trying to do another joint with communication as well. I think he was looking at sometime in March for that, so.
You what? Oh, thank you. Kim, did you have your hand up?
Yes, I did. I just in response to Jason, I'm really pleased that I think every council member, including Mayor Trister, has had a chance to either in the recent past, or during the last tour, been able to come do a walkthrough of the library. We've been, working on this and getting people to come periodically, and I think with the last walkthrough that took place back in, I can't remember when, but we now have everybody that's on the council come through. I think we also had most of the council at the Winterfest too, but that was a whole different event.
And many of you volunteered, so thank you for that.
Well, Gail and I will continue to sling food, so yeah. But I'm just, and Dave can speak to this as well. I'm really pleased that people have been able to get a real deeper perspective and understanding of the library and where everything is situated, what everyone does, and from the basement to the top. So I want to thank the staff and Diane for being able to accommodate folks and to give people that understanding.
Great. Thanks, Kim. Anyone else have comments on facility? No? Thank you. Thank you for calling out. She had her hand up. I missed it. Fund development, Anna Ed.
Okay, so fund development, we've met by correspondence, not in person, and I'm trying to get through all the open action items that we've created for fund development, and I sent something out recently to the entire board for consideration. It's regarding the donor advised fund. language that we are proposing to add to the already adopted library, the Legacy Society gift acceptance policy and its corresponding summary. So before I go any further, I'd just like, did everybody get it? Did everybody read it? Does anybody have any questions?
I think you addressed my question regarding how the fund works and everything, because I was trying to understand.
I get good pushback from Chris. He's like my thermometer, so. And this wording has been reviewed by, Dean Spada. He's, even though I'm not investments or finance or anything, he's been very supportive when I've needed to, run things by him, because I have no idea what I'm talking about.
And that's why we have him.
That's why we have him. But yeah, so if Elizabeth, you have this information, so I don't have to, okay. So, so no question.
My head was spinning after that. I had no idea what you were talking
Yeah,
about.
I know. No, I get it, I get that way with sometimes with the budget stuff, but.
So this is another mode, if you will, for folks to give to the Legacy Society at the library, and it's something that's approved and doable with the 501c 3. So
Yeah, I'm not even, yes, if you're 501c3, you want to be open to receiving donor advised funds. And so I'll, there's no other questions, no comments, so I'm gonna go ahead and make the motion.
Make a motion, we'll have somebody second it.
All right, so I make a motion that that the board approve, I'm gonna read all the wording, or do you want? You know what, I'm not gonna read all the wording, because we all have it in front of us. Elizabeth can just copy it, or do you want me to read the wording?
Just read the first paragraph, I guess, that we're gonna vote this into our.
Okay,
Policy.
so I'll make a motion that the board approve the inclusion of the wording for the donor advised fund to the Legacy Society's gift acceptance policy as follows. A donor advised fund, or DAF, is a tax advantaged charitable giving account that allows individuals to contribute assets, invest the balance, and distribute cash gifts to 501c3 nonprofits. Any person, couple, family, or even company can open a DAF account. There are two, the Lucy Robin Wells Library recommends the following when establishing a donor advised fund distribution. Individuals desiring to support the library with the DAF should check with a financial advisor, and a financial advisor can offer assistance with the cash, securities, or more illiquid assets into a DAF account. And the specific wording is on the document that has been distributed.
So
And PM seconds, thank you. Any questions?
I do have one comment to make. I think we're already on the back end of a DAF, which is the large guest.
Yes.
That comes in from a charitable organization that administers per estate, and we get a disbursement once a year. So that is a DAF.
Okay. So the second motion is to approve.
No, we gotta vote on
Oh,
it.
I'm sorry.
Any questions online on the DAF policy being added to our gift acceptance? No? Any in the room? No? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? I don't see any opposition. Okay, motion carries. Thank you very much.
And the second motion is for wording for the gift acceptance policy summary. The proposed wording is as follows: a donor advised fund, or DAF, is a tax advantaged charitable giving account that allows individuals to contribute assets, invest the balance, and distribute cash gifts to a 501c3 to 501c3 nonprofits. Period. So
I'll second it.
All right, Maureen seconding it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Online, I see yeses. Any opposed? No, thank you, motion carries.
Okay, so, on the tail end of that, now that those policies, have been approved, then, there will be a new webpage added to our legacy content. And, that's already been drafted and reviewed by Dean and the committee. And so that, it follows the wording we've all voted on. And I'll include it in the year-end giving flyer as another opportunity for year-end giving. And from there, I can move on to other new ideas.
Thank you, Anna, very much. I know it was a lot of work to figure this out and put it forward, so I appreciate that.
Oh, and I have to say, I have to add something. So, I've been the keeper of a lot of the Legacy Society documents since early days. And I went to look for the gift acceptance policies, and I would have bet money that I had those documents. And I scoured my files and I didn't. And I sent Lisa an email and saying, please check your files. Do you have this? And she did. She had both policies. So why I'm saying this is that if you are, and I've said this for years, whoever is running a committee shouldn't be the keeper of important documents. Yes, you can have a copy, but make sure that the staff has a backup copy, because boy, I would not have wanted to retype that 15-page document. So just a word for, put
Word
it
to the wise.
a
Thank
word
you.
to the wise. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, any other questions for Legacy? No, okay, good, thank you. Nominations, I assume there are none at this point?
No report. That's not until September.
Right, we should probably just make no report on there until we get to the annual meetings. Communications, George is out, and some illness running through his family. I'll move on to, so there's no report for communications. I'll move on to old business. The Newington Library 5K road race, as we know, that's May 18th. We had a meeting earlier today, and I'm looking for someone, to make a motion for us to print up 10 new lawn signs, with the actual date of our race on it. And the estimated cost was $10 to $15 per sign.
I'll make a
So
motion
we
that we
cost-
allocate like $250 to cover the cost of obtaining 10 lawn signs for the 5K race.
I'll second.
However you heard that, Anna and Chris, or Anna and Leanne, that works.
I mean, you could still put, third Sunday in May, it's just that the ones that we have say this Sunday or next Sunday, right?
Okay, so we could say third Sunday. in
Yeah,
May.
so you wouldn't have to do new or fix
Do
them
we have
every
the
year.
graphics somewhere?
Yeah,
When they were
yeah.
originally printed,
The
okay.
third Sunday in May is usually works out pretty well. I
Right.
know that the Waterfall Festival signs were like that.
Yeah, so we just wouldn't have to change them every year, just
Right.
the ones we have
Good
say
point,
this
Lisa.
Sunday.
I mean, it's the same with the Night of Lights and other stuff. They always do like a Saturday, or they say Friday or whatever it is.
Right.
Perfect.
Just not this.
Yes.
Good, great clarification. So, we'll have that. We've got a motion on the table. All those in favor?
Aye.
Not to exceed 250, yeah. Okay. Online, I'm seeing yeses. Any opposed? No, all right, thank you. Motion carries. Hanel event. We have our next Hanel
Oh,
event.
before we go, you should just say for the people who weren't at the race, at the 5K meeting,
Yes,
that Bill Rogers is coming to
Yes.
this year's race.
Bill Rogers is coming, yes. And, actually, another point to that, every time you get these notices, you'll see the race agenda. Check the race agenda, because the time creeps earlier and earlier the closer we get to the race. So last month it was 6:30, this month it was 6:15, so it gets closer as it goes through. And, as you know, for those of you who are online, we have it both online and, in person. But the closer we get, the more we have, the more detail we have to get into, so. appreciate everyone's participation. That is an expectation of all members of the board to participate in the planning and to be there on the day. Understand there's weddings and graduations and stuff, but we should be planning to give our time to that. It is a major source of income for our board. Thank you for that, though. It's exciting when Bill's there. Hanel event. We have a Hanel event coming up Friday, March 7th. I won't be able to attend. Maureen will do the intro on that, but as we say, we're always looking for people to help set up and break down and
Now someone to film.
and
Yeah.
film or take pictures. You know, they can be still pictures, they can be from the back, but I think when we tell people that we move things around, I don't know if they understand the man hours and the oomph that it takes to
Yeah.
push it all back and then bring it all back in. And I think if we had a couple of those pictures, that would help. It'll be after our first presentation, but just the whole idea that, you know, we have choo-choo trains.
Yeah.
The shelves are heavier when you're putting them back at 10 o'clock at night.
Yes, they do seem to gain weight. I have 2-3 questions, Pam.
Bill will help, so you can.
Thank you. I absolutely love the way so many of our spouses and significant others get volunteered and they come willingly. I don't know if they knew. I don't know if they knew when, all y'all signed up, that they were also signing up, but that's great. Thank you.
And I'm just letting you know, I mean, I sent you an
We're out of
email
town, yeah.
about, we're out of town, yeah. So I can't send Roger.
Understood.
I'll be a week post-op, so I won't be moving things, but I'll come.
And what I was saying, what we were saying before about the pictures beforehand is, I just remembered the last time of how we kind of trapped ourselves in an aisle and everything and tried to squeeze past it. That'd be interesting, way to show how tight and what we do. So.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not easy.
Any
putting those
event,
back.
so please bring your cell phones and snap pictures and,
And we'll be dealing with the remediation aspect too.
Well,
Normally we
well,
shove all the way
well,
down there.
Well, that's what I was wondering, is whether we get any pictures. I mean, I don't wanna, too much, but I mean.
I have
maybe
the
some
pictures of them like blocked off. I think that's a talking point without being scary.
Yeah,
I think, I don't know. So anyone else available to help, I hate to
Are
say.
you looking for a show of hands?
I'll be there.
Sure, show of hands. I don't know if some people can only make it early, some people can only make it late. So if it's one way or the other, but who are our volunteers? We've got Leanne,
Oh, well, we'll be there.
Chris,
Pauline's got her hand up.
Maureen,
Bill.
Pauline.
Anybody online?
Sorry, good.
Anyone online? Well, Jason is still wearing his shoulder harness, so I'm thinking he's not gonna push, but please come. Or pull, but please come and enjoy the music in the evening.
Gonna do food and
We always
We can
need
hang out. Oh, yeah, we should do food and drinks. Good thing you guys are here. Can we do what we've done in the past? Does that still go over? Well, the wrapped cookies and the,
Yeah, I just have to see if we can get them. We can get, I was gonna see if Michelle could get cookies made, like. we
see,
had
that
before.
name again, Michelle.
Boy, she better never leave.
Our town, yeah, I think if we can do that, and then we have the water and the lemonade. That'd be good. Do we need any other cups or napkins or anything? How are we doing with those? Paper goods? Do we need to boost those up again?
Well, you had Christmas at the last one.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Will you have something?
Need
just
green this time.
Need
Green, just green, and we can
Just
green,
green,
green
solid,
at other
nothing,
things
yeah.
too, so.
Is there still a party city?
I was gonna say, one thing.
Party City's not
Because,
there.
yeah, well, they're going out of business, but they got sales and stuff, so it might not be a bad idea to take a look.
Yeah, come
Yeah.
to Party City, stock up.
Let's talk. Well, that would normally be a good idea, but you need storage if you're gonna stock up. So
My basement can't do it.
Okay. So that would be good if you guys
Yeah.
do.
Napkins and
Cups.
cups. I think you're gonna need cups too.
Yeah. Let us know. And if Michelle can get the. It's usually a very nice night. This is Celtic music. It's fun. And you can wear your trustee lanyards. I hear all sorts of good things about the library that way. That's part of the reason. Of course, I usually get up and speak, so they zero in on me afterwards, but,
Are we having an intermission in that, this one?
I think he's going straight through if there's.
I think he's going through.
I think he had asked about 15 minutes.
Oh,
Oh,
I
that's
can't,
right.
I know that we asked him and
We
he.
don't know.
So
It's
then,
in an email
if that's the
somewhere.
case, if we have the board up,
I was just gonna say the board should be
it
there.
needs to be manned.
I can do that.
I'll say the board. And we'll give you something to raise your leg.
Yeah.
Put a little recliner in the area.
All right, so the trifold.
But you're gonna need more than one person, because when we were at the Winterfest, it was, I mean, there were three of us at the table and two people were, seemed to be always engaged,
Okay,
so.
well, we can figure that
I'm
out.
just
gonna be
throwing, I'm
around,
just throwing it out
Yeah,
there.
no, it's true, it should be. I mean, we should avail ourselves of all opportunities.
Okay. All right, you guys can figure out where you wanna place that. Okay, so we have some of our volunteers set up for that. Will we have the students here too?
You can get two actually, we're having two of them will be there.
Yeah.
The two that are. that have been there last.
Oh, good, one of them's really tall.
Yes.
Which helps. Okay, great.
Jackson.
That Jackson?
Jackson.
Yeah, that's great.
Amen.
All right,
see in the books,
next
Yep.
is open board positions, and I think it was written incorrectly or we've shifted things around. I think we have a corporate, I know we have a corporate position open, and I think the other position, because of the way we've put things around, is a Republican position open. Okay, so the Dem positions are all taken, and we have one Republican and one corporate position open.
Oh.
All right, so if you know of anybody, encourage them to join our fund. Any other new business? Anybody want to put new business on for next month? Looking online? No? Okay, any public participation online?
I'm not seeing that.
None online? Any comments from here? No? All right. It is 8:20. Wow, and I would entertain a motion for adjournment if somebody would like to make that.
move.
Do I have a second?
I second.
And a second, Leanne made it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, everyone, for your time and attention and all the work you do in between the meetings. It's greatly appreciated. Have a good evening, and in the famous words, you don't have to
Great
go,
week, everyone. Take care.
so, pack up your stuff and head out. The library officially closed about 20 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
I was a little concerned. I heard a little.
That
Yeah, I
is
was having
high. The
issues.
quality of what